victory. What were your thoughts on the game today?
I think we're frustrated. I think any game where you're leading at half time, and you're in control and you don't win it, there's frustration there. Disappointed with the goal, really poor goals to concede. I think there's lots of moments within it where we can do better and avoid the goal happening. But it did happen. Look, half time they obviously changed their approach, shape, mixed it up a little bit. Just by having more people up the pitch, it creates problems. I think it's important that in them moments we either gain more control and are better with the ball, or we score the next goal. Ultimately it didn't happen. It ended up being a bit of an end-to-end old-fashioned derby, but yeah, frustration, bit of disappointment. Over the 2 games, look, there's been improvements in where we are, and we're not just going to turn the corner and make everything rosy overnight. We're well aware of that, and it's important that we do take the good parts from the performance, but also learn from the parts that we're not quite happy with.
Do you think you did enough to have gone on and won today?
With the first half performance, I think if we score where we hit the post first half, I think it's a completely different second half. A couple of their lads are coming off the pitch just before half time saying let's get into half time 1-0. I think that speaks volumes. A little bit of credit to them, to be fair, for, like I say, changing it, bit of caution to the wind, and they get their goal and their tails go up. That's football, momentum swings very quickly. That's why the moments are so important.
Taking 4 points from the 6 over the 2 games, it must be positive to take from that.
Yeah, look, I think over the last few months we've learned not to turn our nose up at any point gained. You've got to keep topping up. We are where we are. We're short of where we want to be, but we've still got aspirations to do well this year, and it's small steps. Anything
particular that pleased you about the performance today that you can look to build on?
I think the 2 performances. I think we started both games a lot better than we have. I think there was a lot of intent. I thought Amari up front, first half, set the tone for the team really well, and it was backed up from behind. Tomo and Evans looking sharper and fitter. And each time we get a better version of Tom, we'll be in a better place in the second half of the season for him.
The game's come thick and fast, don't they, now? Because you've got Leamington, and you've got the Dorking game in the FA Trophy as well. So January's an important time for Harriers, isn't it? Yeah,
of course. 7-8 games. The chances of playing brilliantly in all 7 or 8 of them is very, very unlikely. I've learnt that in all my time in the game. However, if you're organised, you're together, you show good spirit, you stay in games, and then you provide them moments that I spoke about earlier, you've got a real chance of doing well. You can't focus on being brilliant every game. Everybody aspires to be a 10 out of 10 performance, but it very rarely happens. You've got to do the other side of things, and we've been trying to do them, and especially over the last 3 games, starting with Fylde away. I think you've got to go back to basics, and you've got to recognise what brings success.
I know it's early after the game, but Joe Leasy went off with a bit of a nasty knee injury. Do you know what the situation is at the moment?
Yeah, it's just being assessed at the minute. It didn't look great. Look, he's a tough character, and he strapped himself up, got out there for the second half, but something obviously wasn't right, so we'll be assessing that over the next 48 hours. But fingers crossed it's not too bad.
Is there any other injury reports at this stage, or is the squad in relatively good bill of health going forward?
Yeah, it's hopefully getting there, touch wood. Look, we've had some bad injuries this year, but I'm not going to complain about that every side. Would wish for less injuries, but we've had our fair share. Nat Knight, Percival, Alex Penny a lot closer than they have been, and they're getting stronger with each week, so look, hopefully they can be added to the squad over the coming weeks.